Let's call the meeting to order. We'll go ahead and take roll call. I'll let
Director
you,
Nancy Bell.
okay,
Mary Madaram.
Travis Lipton.
Lisa Weeks.
Brett Spears.
Doug Iverson.
We are here today to discuss the color theory invoice, sorry, losing my words today, that was presented. And Mary, I know there's some concerns about some of the work that was done, and Mary handled this initially, and so I provided a copy of what Mary wanted to share as her summary of events. Has everyone had a chance to look over that? Okay. Mary, do you have anything that you want to add or say before we let Orion speak?
No, I thought, that's why I put it in writing.
Okay.
I wanted everyone to have a chance to
Wonderful.
digest it ahead of the meeting.
Okay. And thank you for sharing that. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can we make a motion to approve it and then have a discussion?
We certainly can if you
I'll
want to do
make a
that.
motion to approve the colored theory invoice
Second.
as presented to us.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed?
Opposed.
That's
Who
it.
opposed?
I did.
Okay, so it's what, 4-1, pay it?
Okay. So we don't need to have a
What
discussion?
happens to the discussion? I thought we were gonna have a discussion.
Well, do you want to have a discussion? But we've already voted. If you want to discuss it, that's fine.
I always thought that we made the motion and then we
We
had
make a
discussion
motion,
before we voted.
We made a motion, let's back up. Now you can have your discussion.
Let's have our discussion. Okay. Orion, would you like to explain how this bill came about initially?
Yeah, do you want me to come up there?
Yeah,
It's
please
easiest.
do.
Alright, I'll try and be pretty quick. I know we already approved it, so I won't take up too much of your time. Has everyone had a chance to look over what I sent?
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, so, do you want me to kind of go over everything?
Yeah,
or-
just kind of like,
Your position again.
What's that?
Your role, your position.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So my name is Orion Ripon. I graduated from Ripon College. I'm the owner of Color Theory Painting. I graduated this year with Tony Damp. And for the past couple of years, I've been lucky enough to run my own house painting business through a company called College Works Painting. And then this year, I was able to launch my own business on my own LLC. And it's been a great journey so far. And that obviously starts with marketing. So you have to knock on doors, post on Facebook, kind of those type of things to get clients. I was in Green Lake, just knocking on doors. When I happened to knock on Mary's house, her husband answered. Potentially going to do an estimate for them to paint their home. And then later that evening, he reached out to me, said that they had a project with the Ripon Library for a house that they were going to sell, and that they just needed something quick, that they could get it painted and get it on the market. They said they would definitely give me work, is what he said. So I went out there with my business partner at the time. I did an estimate for them. I believe the number was just above $3,000 for just the painting of the windows. And then I gave a separate number around $5,500. I have those exact numbers in writing that I also have over text as well, for what they agreed to do at that time, which was one coat on the siding, one coat of the trim. That was great to hear, and he said he was very excited to get that done because that would entice people to buy it, because then the outside would look good, and because there's a lot of mess on the inside, I guess.
When you say he, you mean?
Her husband,
Her
yes.
husband.
Yep, I did a lot. If you hear me referring to her husband,
Yeah.
it'll be Mary's husband. I did a lot of this talking, especially early on with her husband.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm referring to him a lot here, because he was my main source of contact for that. But then after we initially agreed to that, I needed to meet with her again, and I met right upstairs in the director's office to actually sign the contract the following day. So I made a separate trip down to Ripon just for that. Upon meeting with Mary in that office, we decided to upgrade to 2 coats on the siding since we were doing a color change, and that would make it cover fully. Since they did that, I was willing to throw in the additional paint upgrade, because originally we chose super paint, which is a decent paint, but I really wanted to have this look nice. I support the Ripon community. I wanted you guys to get a lot of money out of this home, so I upgraded the paint for free because I knew it would cover nice, and Duration's a great paint. But on top of that, what I did then is I said I would trim all the bushes because the bushes were completely overgrown. I have pictures, I don't know if those were shared with you, but the bushes were completely against the siding of the house, unpaintable. So what we did, including Tony, is we took hours on that project, just trimming the bushes. And then I even went as far as to shaping them, because they were quite overgrown. I wanted it to look nice, so you guys could get a lot of money selling it. So I even shaped the bushes the best I could.
That helped you paint in getting closer on the paint?
Yeah, so we cut the actual branches because they were super thick, or even used a saw to cut some of them. And then I shaped the top and I shaped the front side of the bushes as well, so they look nice and square, nice and pretty. Not a landscaping company, but we still did that the best we could. I did that completely free because I didn't want to charge you guys more money for that, even though it needed to be done if we wanted to do this. After that, I went and did the wash for the house, washed the entire home, and this was on a separate day. Took an entire day to get that washed, completely clean for you, and made sure not to damage any of the siding and stuff because it was really brittle. So I couldn't do a lot of heavy duty power washing on the house, or it could have damaged the siding. So that siding there. After that, we waited about a week, came out, started the painting on the project. And when you paint a house, you start first by painting the siding. It's actually how the process works. So you have to tape off everything you don't want to get paint on, from the concrete to the doors, to the windows, things along that lines. So we started with that, and then we painted on our test samples as well to make sure that the color would match appropriately. And after we saw the color would look good, we then decided to take off the shutters, because we did say we would try and take them off the best we could, and then we were to paint the shutters as well. That was part of the contract. We tried to pull those shutters off, and then I received a phone call from Tony and my other painter, Riley. They let me know, hey, these won't come off without potentially damaging the siding, damaging the shutters, or even worse, ripping out parts of the siding there. We were unaware of this because when I do my estimate, obviously I'm not under contract with you guys, so I can't pull on the shutters because that would be a liability issue to actually do that. The neighbor later told us that he's the one that installed those shutters and that they weren't meant to be removed at all. So that was unfortunate, but it is a very rare circumstance. As soon as they called me and let me know about that, I got off the phone with them and I tried to call her immediately. She never answered my phone call and simply told us that it was unacceptable that
No, Orion, you called me, I was
Wait, he is talking. It is not your turn, we're not gonna have a back and forth conversation. He's telling his story, and then you can tell.
That's not true.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I have text messages to go over this, but I tried to give her a call. Again, she said that it was unacceptable that we couldn't get the shutters off. I have that all over text, happy to share. But I said, hey, if you have a minute, please, I would love to explain this over the phone. And I sent that on a message. She said she was unavailable. I said it would be a quick 1-minute call. She refused. I said, okay. And I tried to explain the issue of why we couldn't get those shutters off, because they were plastic and because they were so brittle, so old, and why we couldn't get them off. And then she said and told us that it was unacceptable for us to do that, and that she just wanted the windows to be painted. I then tried to explain with her how if we did that, it would be very expensive because we already prepared the home to paint the siding. Everything was already taped, everything was already washed, and it was ready to have the siding painted. She then told us that she wanted to go that route, and she wanted us to stop all of those preparations. We had to peel all the taping we prior did to actually paint the siding, and we had to begin work on the windows. Before I confirmed that that's exactly what she wanted to do, I even offered to take, I believe it was $200 off, have it in writing there on the entire project for the inconvenience of not being able to take the shutters off. It was a circumstance that was out of our control, out of her control, and I said we'll do that for free. We'll take $200 off, and then I said what we'll do as well is we will spray the shutters. We can just spray right over them, same color as the siding, and we'll do that for free for you. If you want us to hand paint them, which we can do, would be an additional cost, is what I said up to that point. But I offered to paint the shutters for free if we just kept them on and take $200 off the project. Refused that, wanted us to do the windows. My crew then went ahead, peeled everything, and did preparations. They fully scraped and primed every single window with our peel bond primer that was contracted to use. And the next day, I was getting ready for an estimate, and I got a phone call from her and her husband. They were very, very upset about the project, telling us how it was unsatisfactory and not using very kind language, which was disturbing to hear. But after calming them down and trying to just figure out what the root issue of the project was, we finally determined to meet the next day. And that night I said, and this was still over the phone, I said, hey, what we can do is we can tape off the shutters. I won't charge you guys for any of the taping that we'll do, because it would obviously need taping to protect it. And then I said, I won't charge you for taking back the materials, because we had to move all the materials back onto the job site then. I won't charge you for restarting the project. I won't charge you for any of the retaping of the windows we'll have to do. I'll do it for free. I just want to get this done for you and looking nice. And she refused that. Then we met with her at 10 a.m. the next day, and they had their mind up that they wanted the project to be over at that point. Even after I offered to do a second coat on the windows completely free of charge because they were unsatisfactory. So I'm not quite sure if the work was unsatisfactory, why you wouldn't let us try and make it satisfactory by doing a second coat completely free. On top of that, we offered to do the back steps, which we prior agreed to do for a few $100s. I said we would do those for free as well. I also threw in a few other things for free prior to that. So a lot of free things were given. I just wanted to end the project on good terms and make it look beautiful for her. But all the things I threw in for free were refused. And it started by her saying that we want to be done and the deposit should be enough for what I've paid on this project. $1,700 didn't cover near our cost. It didn't even cover majority of the paint. It felt like at that point. Obviously the paint was only about $500-600, but that's a lot of chunk of that $1,700 is where that's going. And then they said, you have to give us a reasonable offer. And they kept coming back to this phrase, give us a reasonable offer, reasonable offer. I then told her it would be near $4,000 if she just wanted to end the project because of all the prior prepping that we've done to get it ready for the siding painting, all the paint we've bought, all the materials we've moved, all the time we've actually spent invested to paint the siding that she abruptly canceled. That had to be paid for. So then I said it would be roughly $4,000. After hearing that, she said that that's completely unacceptable. She said that she didn't want to get the city involved, that the city would potentially need to get involved in this. On top of that, she threatened to get the city attorney involved in this. If I didn't find a number that she agreed to, which she determined to be under $3,000, multiple times it was told that we would get the city attorney involved if we had to, which was scary. As a new small business that just started, hearing that is not something you like to hear. And then she said that she then left after we could not find a price. They said it needs to be under $3,000. I said I could do it for $3,200. That would be making me lose money on this project. But honestly, I was afraid. I've never had to deal with lawyers. I was okay with just being done for $3,200, burying the hatchet. She said that if I wanted to end as friends, that I should agree to their price. It was then talked, it wasn't directly said, but how do I put this? It was said that if we don't want this to get out there, that's the exact phrase that was used, and I have this all on recording as well, and I'm speaking kind of quick. I have meta glasses which record audio and visual, so I have this all on video in case you guys need that. But yeah, it was said that you don't want to get this out there, almost feeling like blackmail on our end, almost feeling like a threat, like if we don't agree to your price, we're going to tell people you did bad work, we're going to hurt your new small business. So that was not great to hear from someone representing the board on that aspect. We then couldn't find a price. They left, we stayed on the project, me and Tony, and we just wanted to find a solution to get this project looking nice and to make everybody happy so you guys could sell this home and get what it's worth at the end of the day. They then came back, and this is when they told us that they are going to have Adam from the city come on down, and this isn't going to be good because he's going to be very upset with the work that is done. They said that I need to find a price at this point below $3,000, or around $2,900 is what I have it on video them saying at that point. I said I'll do my best to try and find that number. Really unsure how I'm going to do that, but I was going to try my best. And then, as her husband put it, he's going to call off Adam at that point. So then he went back in the car and called Adam off, so that Adam wasn't going to come visit the project at that point. I then went into my car, and we thought about what to do next, and they left. We then called Adam ourselves to come and visit the project. And Adam's discussion on it was simply what you guys thought as well, just pay the bill. Just send a bill and pay the bill. That's what Adam recommended. So that was the recommendation. Then as he was there, they came back. And as soon as they got out of the car, they were much more friendly and a lot more kind at that point. They were a lot more friendly, especially towards Adam. And that's where they told told us that we were no longer allowed on the property. We got completely banned from the property by her husband and her up to that point. So we weren't allowed to do any more work on it, even though we were offering free work, and it was unsatisfactory. So I wasn't really sure what the solution was at that point, but that's kind of how it went down up to that point. Also at that point, they said $3,000 yet again that it needed to be, so I have a video of that. It needs to be under $3,000. She requested a no lien waiver, so attached to the invoice as well as an ending agreement. So they go hand in hand. So if we want to do the invoice, we also have to do the ending agreement, which includes that no lien waiver. To show good faith, I haven't put a lien on the house because I knew this was going to get resolved, and I wanted you guys to get your money worth of the house. I wanted you to be able to sell it without worrying about any of that. So I didn't put any liens on the house or anything like that, even though we haven't been paid since early June, late May. And I've been in contact with the city attorney, and his advice was to bring an invoice to the new director, Nancy Bella here, and I did that prior to our last meeting. What you guys probably saw as well is I did send a prior invoice June 23rd, I want to say, and that was of $2,999. It was below the price that we were told we needed to stay below by Mary and her husband. To be honest with you, I just sent that invoice because I wanted this to be done. I was afraid of the threats. I didn't want to get the city involved. I didn't want to get the lawyer involved, and I didn't want my reputation to be tarnished, which was already threatened at that point. So I just wanted to get that invoice sent and end as friends, as she stated. And she refused that invoice that I sent to her directly. She refused it because the work was unsatisfactory. She refused it because they didn't agree to that price, even though I do have it recorded that that is the price they wanted and requested, demanded, and I gave it to her. And there were a couple other things. Her email, I shared the email, she denied it shortly after, of why she denied that. It needed to be presented to you guys, but I just want to share that I did send an invoice out of good faith, hoping we could just end there, and she denied it. So now I sent this new invoice after I was forced to go back and look at all the pricing, take hours going through all these, finding exactly how much all my costs would be on this project, and really break that down. So I gave you guys the original price of what I would have charged to do the windows for $30.59. On top of that, I charged the paint. We're a painting company, we buy our paint in bulk. I don't have exactly what it would cost to buy the certain amount of gallons that you guys used. I contacted my Sherwin-Williams representative. He gave me a rough price. That's the best I can do. And I added that number plus the paint price, and that gave us our total, and then there's about $150 left. Now that $150 is going to cover all of the trimming of the bushes, all of the extra phone calls, all the extra drive time, all the extra washing of the home, all of those things that we didn't get to use. That's what that's covering, including the prepping of the home, the taping of the windows. All of those things would be completely.
And the final total then is?
$37.75 is the total of
You feel
the
good
home.
about that?
I feel like I want to support the Ripon community still, and I still want to support what you guys do here because I know you guys have a lot of renovations going on. I don't want to be a burden for that, and I don't want to eat up any more cost than you guys have. I feel decently about that price. It's going to keep me not on target where I want to be, a little bit below, just because I've come to multiple of these meetings. One thing I should say as well, in that same email where she denied that invoice, she said on July 15th, we would be going over if that was to get approved. That's why you guys saw me at the last meeting, because she told us that we would be on that agenda, which we were never included on. So we took off of work halfway throughout that day to come to that meeting, to be able to attend that meeting. And we weren't even talking about that meeting, so we lost an entire half a day of work for not even being on the agenda that day. So that was unfortunate. I know there might have been some miscommunications since we have had some position changes, which is nobody's fault, but it is disturbing to see that that wasn't communicated with the prior history of how we've been treated so far. So yes, that is where we stand today.
Thank you, Orion.
Thank you.
Mary?
Okay. As I indicated in my write-up, on the day that the work commenced, Orion called to tell me that they would not be able to get the shutters off without damaging them. I was in Montana, so I could not come to the job site. And I said, just stop what you're doing on the siding, please just focus on the windows. Let's get the windows done. And stop all other work.
Is that possible, excuse me, to just do that?
At that point, it is possible, but we already had all the windows taped, the house was already washed, so it is possible, but it's very not cost effective. You still have to pay for everything up to that point. So no, it would not be ideal. That's why I offered taking the 200 off. That's why I offered to just paint over the shutters, because it would have been a really expensive project, which it is for just the windows at this point.
Okay,
Okay.
so when I got in town the next day, I went over to look at the windows. I got to the house, I looked at the windows, I called Orion and I just said, I just wanna confirm that the windows are done. He said, his words were absolutely. And I said to him, Orion, they can't possibly be done. It was a horrible job. It was a horrible, horrible job. And I just told him that it was unacceptable, those were my words. So he came out, we looked at it together, and at no point was I offered a second coat of paint for free. That never happened. Had he offered to do the second coat, there would be no reason for me to decline that. That would have given us a better chance to have gotten, it's not my turn to talk, Orion. That would have given us a better chance to have gotten a good result, but that was not offered to me. At that point, because we could not come to an agreement about that, he kept pushing about doing the siding. And based on, now this is my judgment, I'm only one person, I don't know if anybody else went over and looked at those windows.
Probably more of us should have gotten
But-
involved.
In my judgment, based on what I saw with that work, I was very, as I indicated, I was very uncomfortable about moving forward to do anything else at the house. I was fearful of how that outcome could be. And then we focused on trying to settle where we were. What's involved, we tried to come to an agreement. We felt like $3,000 was a lot of money to paint 11 windows, based on the way those 11 windows looked. So we had an impasse. I never called Adam Sontag. I never threatened to sue Orion. I never did any of that. I simply lost confidence in him and his ability to complete the job in a way that I felt would benefit us. As far as I was concerned, the siding was better the way it was than to take the risk that they could get that done. And they changed the contract when they said, we can't do the shutters, we can't remove the shutters. I didn't want the shutters painted the same color as the siding. The shutters match all the other trim on the house. So in my mind, as I indicated, when he called and told me we can't get the shutters off, at that moment, the contract changed, the conditions changed. And that's why I said, stop what you're doing, let me look at what's been done, and then let's go from there. And it was a very contentious conversation, there is no doubt. We could not come to an agreement. Jack and I left, we went over and walked the Mascoutin Trail, came back to the house, and there was Adam Sontag and Orion in the front yard. I never called Adam Sontag. So, you know, I understand he had expenses, I get that. But the judgment that I made was that it was a risk to continue down the road with him. And I was trying to mitigate the financial exposure and the potential of how the house was gonna look. So, you know, you guys, you voted, you wanna pay him, I get it, I understand. But you know, there are, as, you know, one of my axioms in life is there's two sides to every story. You heard his side of the story, I put my side in writing, I made the best judgment I could make at the time. I took care of everything else that had to do with that house and got it sold in a very short period of time. Couldn't find a painter, couldn't get anybody to call me back. Orion shows up on our doorstep, selling, my husband was impressed with them. We thought we were doing a good deed for a young business guy. And when I saw the results there, you guys, I said, there is no way.
What was wrong? What was wrong?
Well, the windows were in the trim on the windows was in horrendous shape.
Before.
It was, yes. The reason that the reason we needed the painter to begin with was because we ran the risk, if we were getting a first-time home buyer, that they would not, the house would have to be cured. And then we'd be way down the, you know, it would have delayed the whole project. So all the realtors said, you need to get that taken care of, which involves scraping, priming, and painting. And the work, the way that, maybe it couldn't have looked good. You know what, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there was no way that could have looked good. But it was like you could see right through the paint. It was all, everything was all muddled, and it just was like, it looked horrible. It just looked horrible. And I just thought, okay, this is not good. This is not a good situation. I wanted to stop. I wanted to mitigate the damages. And if Orion's got $3,700 worth of expenses, so be it. But that was the judgment that I made. It was not in any way that I was trying to battle it and take this poor young guy down. I was trying to do my job of protecting the library. That was the decision that I made. Whether that's the decision anybody else here would have made, I don't know. But that was the decision I made.
Mary?
Yeah.
I do have some comment on that in my slip of the comment. Because I do have.
This is not back and forth, as
It's
Doug
not, I have
said.
videos of you.
So you're-
It's up to Lisa, she's the board president,
Well, you stopped the other discussion.
since you were doing it in the middle, I'm interrupting,
You
so
know-
Lisa.
You can go ahead and
Thank you.
feedback.
Thank you. She is right, there are two sides to every story, and I understand why she ended the work and wanted to end the work because she didn't have confidence, but it's not okay to make false statements, and you did threaten to get the lawyer involved. I have it all on video. I did offer you a second coat completely free. Tony was there. I have it all on video. So I'm not gonna sit here and allow that to be said because that's just not true. And if we're gonna be in these positions, we need to be truthful on what happened. And the windows were in bad condition. That's why I have these pictures, because you can see what they did look like beforehand. I mean, that was the window almost rotting. And this is the same window right there on the left afterwards. So yes, it's not perfect. They're old windows, they'll never be perfect again. But with just one coat, that it covered. We did our job in scraping, priming, and painting. I understand you weren't happy, that's why I offered the second coat. But I do have it on recording that I did offer the second coat. So, I needed to say that.
Thank you. Yeah. Do we need to revote, or are we good with the vote
If
yet?
you wanna revote, you can.
Okay, you wanna make a motion?
Should I make a motion to accept the color theory bill as presented?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Opposed.
Passes 4-1. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Mary.
Yes, thank you. Mary, did you have another item you wanted to bring up?
I would, but I'm not sure that I would get support for the motion. I'd like to make a motion to reconsider the vote that we took in the last meeting about the legal bill. According to the Roberts rules, that can be called a as long as the person voted in the affirmative, which I did. I'd like to reopen the discussion about the legal bill.
Can you help us understand why?
Do these gentlemen need to stay?
No.
No, if you guys want to go, you can. I'll work with Nancy to make sure the check gets out to you soon, okay?
I just had one question after, I don't know if I can ask
Okay,
it now.
absolutely.
It's just about the agreement, is that included in the invoice then?
I don't have it included, do you want that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that goes along with the invoice, those are hand in
Got it.
hand.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't print it out, but
Okay, I don't know if
will
that
make
needs
sure
to get
gets-
approved or anything.
It's part of the
Okay,
invoice.
perfect,
We're good.
perfect, thank
Thank
you.
you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, so if you could help us understand.
Sure. I felt like the conversation, the lack of conversation that took place when we met before, I felt like the matter was pushed with no discussion, that there was actually commentary made that it was being handled poorly. And I feel like there's more conversation. I guess there's some things I have to say that I would like to have the opportunity to say. And that was my reason to ask for it to be reconsidered. And I'd
This is the
actually like,
Ludwards,
yeah, I'd actually like to see it voted on again.
Has the bill been paid?
Not yet.
Okay.
I confirmed that. So are you making the official motion?
I am
Somebody
making a
want a
motion to
second?
reconsider the discussion and the vote on the legal bill for the Volker estate.
Do I have a second? I'm sorry, Mary, but it failed.
Okay.
All right. I think that was the only thing on our agenda. Motion to adjourn,
I'll make a motion to adjourn. I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
That's the